There have been many extinctions in Earth's past. Could the next one happen soon? Probably not, at least not naturally. I will be counting down from least likely to most likely, starting with number 5, Black Hole. I won't spend the time explaining what black holes are to you because I doubt you are a child that needs talking down to. I should still tell you that black holes are not vacuum cleaners in space. They exert a gravitational force like any other object. They are essentially big stars that emit no light and almost never die. It would be very easy to see a black hole approaching the solar system because of the effects they have on nearby stars. The nearest black hole is already more than 1,000 light years away, so we are in no danger of encountering one. If we did get any close to one, there is no way it would end well. I would like to tell you about how the Earth would dramatically plunge into the black hole, but that would never happen. If we were so incredibly unlucky for a black hole to pass through the inner solar system, it would not swallow Earth. A black hole usually has the mass of a few suns. The Earth still has the orbital velocity for one sun, so it would not fall in, though still start to follow a highly elliptical orbit. The black hole would definitely wrestle us from the gravity of the sun, and if it ran away before capturing us in an orbit, we would escape the sun and be plunged into the cold, dark void of interstellar space. Moving on. Number 4. Asteroid. I always thought that would be unlikely for an asteroid to cause an extinction anytime soon. It has been 60-something million years since the last big asteroid hit, and there might as well be a few more million. I also thought that we would see any big asteroid coming along before it hit. Now I know that isn't the case at all. There have been several instances where a medium-sized asteroid passed very close to Earth and we hadn't even seen it before. It is hard to spot some asteroids because the sun makes them too hard to see. A large asteroid could just as easily hit us without us seeing it. Anyway, this asteroid would send a giant shockwave across the planet and cause massive tsunamis if it landed in the ocean. Humanity would probably survive, but it wouldn't be fun. Number 3. Nuclear War. End-of-the-world events caused by humans are more likely because humans are much more active than nature, and those humans sometimes have an incentive to kill themselves. This has gotten very close to happening, most famously in October of 1962. During the Cuban Missile Crisis, a Soviet nuclear submarine was stationed in the Caribbean. The Americans nearby discovered the vessel and started surrounding it with depth charges, completely oblivious to its nuclear capabilities. The submarine wasn't in contact with the Soviet Union and was about to launch a nuke. Officer Vasily Arkhipov did not approve the launch. Nowadays, he is credited for saving the world, but back then the higher-ups did not appreciate his actions. There have been many other near-miss incidents which you can research for yourself because this video is already long enough. Number 2. Solar Flare. In 1859, a very large solar flare hit Earth. It was so strong that any exposed electronics were fried and even sparked. Luckily, there were not many electronics in use at the time. The people who were operating telegraphs even got electric shocks in some cases. Auroras were seen as far as Mexico and Australia. In the year 2012, a similar event nearly occurred. It narrowly missed the Earth, which you should be thankful for. Before these large flares, many sunspots were visible. We are on the lookout for the signs to make sure they do not take us down. If a flare were to hit today without any preparation, it would not be good, as almost everything relies on electronics. Much of our food is stored in refrigerators, which need power. Of course, that would only be the tip of the iceberg. Just think about how many of your daily activities rely on electronics. Number 1. Climate change. I'm sure you've heard it all. It might not mean much to you because those two words don't really do it justice. For starters, people often point to cold weather as signs climate change is fake, which is why we call it climate change and not just global warming. Sure, rising temperatures are the main effect, but that's not close to the entire story. Remember when Texas just died that one time? That was caused by many winter storms resulting from a massive cold wave. That cold wave was in turn caused by jet streams moving southward earlier than normal. Climate change is what causes these unpredictable changes in course for the jet streams. In addition, scientists hypothesize that the ocean currents could slow down or even stop completely due to the changes in climate. The Atlantic currents have been found to be weakening since the late 1930s. As ice sheets melt, they release fresh water. This decreases the salinity of nearby ocean water and also cools it down. Atlantic circulation is powered by temperature and salinity differences, so this will affect it greatly. Have you ever noticed how Europe is further north than America, yet it can still be warmer in some cases? That is because the Atlantic currents bring water from the equator near Europe and warms it up. Without these ocean currents, Europe would be cooled drastically. I don't think I have to tell you why that's a problem. Of course, the warming of the planet is still an issue. Have you even noticed the sheer magnitude of wildfires these days? I'm pretty sure that's not normal, not to mention the growing intensity of hurricanes. This is quite easy to see for yourself. If you look up the hottest months and years on record, you can see that the recent months and years consistently score. Well anyway, thank you for watching my video. Since you took the few minutes to listen to it, I would appreciate it if you all took a few minutes to listen to us when we tell you to stop killing the planet. Now stop buying plastic bottles you don't need and drink from the tap. If you can.